Yo, what's going on, everybody? So Boruto episode 115 is done and in the books, and I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. Like, when the spoilers came out, I wasn't very interested in the episode just off of the spoiler leaks, because I was thinking Team 25, like, they're hot garbage. We ain't heard anything about them. Like, they're like the 12th dude on the bench looking at Boruto and his team like, yo, you suck, we lost by 2 points, and Boruto's team put up like 38 points, and you're like, how the hell can you even talk? That's kind of how I view Team 25. But at the end of this episode, my view on them actually changed, and as the episode was progressing, I gotta give the director for this. And just as a side note, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually a new director for this episode. He hasn't done any of the previous Boruto episodes, so gotta say, man, I like how this was handled, because when the episode opens up and you see Sai and there's a bomb threat and you find out all of the teams available are investigating the bomb threat, that's roughly a B rank mission. Okay, that is B rank. What I really love about that, what I really love is how Kakashi just casually strolls in and Kakashi's looking around. He's like, nobody's in the office, what's going on here? Sai breaks everything down. Kakashi looks down and he's like, yo, what's going on with this Team 25 team here? There's a complaint. And you know, in typical Kakashi fashion, you know, my dude says, nah, I know I'm retired, but you know, I can handle this right here. I can handle this. So Kakashi walks out and, you know, he gets into his, you know, outfit as the reporter. And I just love it because that's just a classic throwback to Kakashi trolling. Like, a lot of people like to say that all the way back in Naruto, where we had like the filler episode where you had Kakashi and Team 7 was trying to discover his face. You know, a little fun fact, you know, Masashi Kishimoto actually drew a bonus chapter. If I'm not mistaken, there was a bonus chapter in one of the art books, or it was in one of the data books, and it was in there where we actually saw Team 7 trying to get Kakashi's face, and they were speaking to Kakashi's dogs and everything. And like, Kakashi for the most part has always trolled. Like, I just love it. And so when he dresses up as a reporter, you know, that was one of my favorite things about the academy portion of the story, when Kakashi is investigating all the gaining, or the potential gaining, and he breaks down their strengths and weaknesses at that point. And what I love about it is how Hoki has that same level of observation, because when he sees Kakashi dressed up, he immediately remembers that he's the reporter who was gathering information about all the potential gaining who are going through the graduation exam. So right there, you notice, okay, like, there is something Hoki, there is something to salvage here. Like, before that, I always looked at the character as a ripoff of Kakashi, a very bad ripoff of Kakashi, right? Like, I'm talking like some bodega, corner store, knockoff, thrift store, swap meet type stuff. Like, I was just like, okay, like, whatever, this kid's nothing special. He's just tilting his headband down, he's got the mask because he's trying to mimic Kakashi, and the episode kind of has fun with it for a little bit. It has fun with it. And what I like is how Kakashi, he's just like, yo, you don't even understand this story. I like how Kakashi just transitions from poking light fun at him to dropping some real knowledge. And that's what I always liked about Kakashi as a teacher. Like, even when you had like his interactions with Naruto and Sasuke when they were part of Team 7, you know, Kakashi would always drop those little nuggets in there, and he would always poke fun at characters. Like, in particular in the Land of Waves, where when he just threw massive shade at Naruto and Sasuke, and he's like, yo, like, y'all fighting, Sakura actually got the best chakra control out of all of you. She's already mastered the tree climbing technique. Like, yo, y'all gotta step it up. Like, Kakashi, I love that aspect of his character because he's so nonchalant about it. And what's so interesting is that Kakashi takes note of the fact that Hoki has very good memory. Kakashi takes note of the fact that Hako actually has very good perception. Like, when she busts out the guy who's running the mail department for the fact that he's having a fight with his wife, and she's like, hey, you need to make up with your wife because you need to go home and get your shirt ironed and everything. Like, that's another thing, perception. And then when you find out that Ringa has good defense and he's got the brute strength, and Kakashi puts everything together and he realizes that, okay, the other two broke off because Hoki, he might have the right idea, he might have good intentions, he is also very drunk when it comes to being the leader. And you know, he kind of points out to Hoki, he's like, yo, man, see, this is the problem right here. You're so focused on trying to be the leader that you're not understanding your teammates. And what's really cool about that, and like I said, the anime briefly hinted at this, what's so cool is Hoki might be imitating Kakashi, and yet at the same time, Hoki, unbeknownst to him, is displaying a lot of the characteristics that you got from Kakashi in the, I think it was volume 28 of the Naruto manga, where you got Kakashi guiding. And in that moment when Kakashi was given the title of team leader leader. He was just promoted to Jonin. He was very strict, like, I'm the leader, everyone follow my charge. And Minato had to kind of sit back and kind of cover up for him. And then after Kakashi almost gets killed and he puts his team in danger, Minato's just like, yo, I'm gonna leave. I got my mission. You guys need to work this out. Kakashi's the team leader, and just kind of ghost on him at that point because he has faith that Kakashi can figure it out. And so with Hoki, you know, when he hears Kakashi's story about how all of a sudden the 6th Hokage, when he was put in charge, he had a fight with one of his teammates, who we all know is Obito, and he's like, yo, he wanted to make up with his teammate, but his teammate's dead because he made a bad call. He put his team in danger. He ended up losing everyone around him. And it's in that moment that, you know, you can see like the wheels kind of turning in Hoki's head. And what I really like about that is how the episode starts off by basically telling us that this team, they're essentially garbage. Like, to put this in perspective, while Boruto and his team are running out and they're disabling all the bombs, and they had a fight with the leader of the organization that's doing all these bombs that are being delivered in packages, and they're gathering all this intel and everything, Hoki's team is still doing what Boruto and his team were doing all the way back when they were in the academy, when they were interning and doing the exact same thing that you see Hoki's team doing. And it's because they screw up so much and they get so many complaints that when a mission like this was so vital and so critical, they just stick them on D rank missions. They stick them on D rank missions. And I do want to say this, like, it'll be very easy to kind of poke fun at this team. What I will say is that they had a couple things working against them. First of all, they were doing this mission without a Jonin supervising them. Now, they're Ganins, they do need a Jonin there, or at least a Chunin to kind of keep tabs on them, kind of point them in the right direction. The other thing that I find interesting is the fact that they clearly don't have teamwork. So that's another thing that shows you that, okay, whoever their Jonin is, whoever he is, he's garbage. Wouldn't surprise me if that's Kiba's team. But here's what's crazy, right? Here's what's crazy. The moment Kakashi just steers them in the right direction and drops the breadcrumbs, they're competent enough to where they start picking up everything. And I think another thing that really works is how they transition from being awkward and infighting, breaking up, and then you see the growth of their characters throughout the episode. And I think that that's something that when it comes to these transitional episodes, I think a lot of people, it's easy to say, I want to get to the manga. Like the last episode, episode 114, adapted parts of the Boruto manga. Let's get to the really juicy stuff. I totally agree with you. And yet at the same time, we need episodes like this because it does serve to flesh out the characters. And I can see why it's a bit tedious because it seems like we get more of these transition episodes and slice of life episodes than anything else. And it can get old. It can get old. And yet at the same time, when they're done like this, I don't mind it. I really don't mind it when they're done like this. On one hand, you could definitely have more conflict, but this is an episode where it doesn't rely on the melodrama of conflict so much as it takes the internal conflict that is building in the focused character, in this case in Hoki, where he's putting so much pressure on himself to where he wants to be as good of a ninja as Kakashi, where he idolizes Kakashi, puts him on a pedestal. And what you end up seeing is when he's praising Kakashi, Kakashi's undercover and he almost breaks cover for a second. He's like, man, I guess I can't argue with praise like that. Like, Kakashi knows. He's like, yo, I made some mistakes, man. I made a lot of mistakes, but yo, you want to keep it up? Go right ahead. And Hoki's like, hey, I'm not talking about you, because he doesn't realize it's Kakashi he's actually speaking to. And what's so cool about that is how after Kakashi gets a hold of himself, that's when he drops those nuggets of wisdom. And you see the internal conflict build yet again, because in Hoki, he actually realizes that he pushed his teammates away and they broke rank from him simply because of the fact that he was making decisions, but they weren't clear. And as a leader, you have to make clear and concise decisions. You have to be able to better utilize the strengths and weaknesses of the people on your team. If somebody's really good at doing A, they need to do A. The person who's really good at B, who the first person is really bad at B, the second person needs to be taking care of B. You need to put people in the best position for success. You need to put them in the best position for success. And so what you end up seeing is Hoki realizes, okay, that's what they were trying to tell me when they were saying that my orders weren't clear enough. And what you end up seeing in Hoki in this moment is that now he's realizing his biggest fault is that he is striving to be so much like Kakashi, and he has it set in his head so much, and he puts so much pressure on himself to succeed that he doesn't take into account the feelings and the thoughts of his teammates. So when they reassemble the team, you actually get this moment where he appears to be taking lead. He really appears to be taking lead, but then he turns turns around to Hoko and he's like, yo, I know you're a puppet master, but you also have very strong perception. You can best utilize our team. I'm entrusting you with the leadership. And that's a very humbling moment right there. That's a very humbling moment. And that's what I mean. If you look very closely at these episodes, you can actually see character development. And what I like about that, and if we're being honest, especially in the Naruto manga, once you got past volume 28, there wasn't a lot of development for any characters who weren't Naruto and Sasuke. You got a little bit of development for people who directly interacted with them, and yet at the same time, the rest of Konoha 11 got left in the background. I like what the Boruto anime is attempting to do. They are giving us a break from Boruto, which I'm all for. I don't think Boruto right now in the anime is strong enough to carry an anime as the main protagonist, but and that's an unpopular opinion, and I'm okay with that, but what I like about it is they take these breaks in order to show us what the other teams are doing. That way we can see them develop, because that's the biggest weakness. When Kishimoto had the original Naruto series, when he had that, if he would have properly developed them, Neji's death would have hit a whole lot harder when chapter 614 came out. So to get back to the Boruto episode, what I also like about it is the fact that after Kakashi gets there and he finds out, okay, they've actually proven themselves. They noticed that Boruto's team missed one of the boxes. They track it down with ease. Kakashi watched from the shadows the entire time. He's sitting on top of the train and he's watching as Hoki's team makes the right decision, and he pulls strings from behind the scenes. And he says, yo, team 25, I think we got the wrong idea on them. And he recommends that Sai ends up being their Jonin leader going forward. And what I really like about that, is this is the perfect team for Sai. And even Sai says it. He's like, yeah, you know, you guys are perfect for intelligence gathering. You know, I'm gonna be working with you guys going forward. Like, they got the perfect Jonin. And what I really like about this is when it comes to Sai as a character, making him a Jonin responsible for a group of Genin, very rough around the edges, but also a group of Genin who have the potential to work for him in the police department and for him in the Anbu. That shows great development for Sai, because when Sai was first introduced, he was a character struggling to find himself. He was looking for clues on how to find himself because Danzo essentially stripped away all of his humanity. He had a few shreds left, and through his interactions with Naruto and Team 7, he did start to grow. But what I like about this is it gives Sai another sense of purpose outside of his family. So I mean, this was really good. So what I want to know from you guys, is what were your thoughts about Team 25? Do you think they were handled in the best way? Let me know down in the comment section below. And I'll say this right now, the Boruto chapters should be coming out either this week or the beginning of next week. So I will have that. And another update is, what if Naruto married Sakura part 2? I'm almost done with it. I ran into a bit of an issue writing out the last arc of that what if, and I finally got through that, so I'm gonna be recording that this week, so stay on the lookout for that, probably after we get through the videos for the Boruto chapter. I will be continuing to do the reviews for the Boruto anime. A lot of you guys have been asking for that, so I will be doing those reviews. They just won't be coming up on, say, early Sunday morning. They might come mid Sunday morning, or probably around 1 o'clock on Sunday, simply because of when the episode comes out. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all into the end. Have an awesome day, guys.